Welcome, everyone. It's so great to see you. Melissa Sleeth, who's on your screen also, will be my facilitator while I'm channeling.
Right.
We're so excited to bring the council through today. And our subject today is how to raise our vibrational frequency. They love to talk about how the world's going to change when we are all on higher vibrational frequencies. So I thought it would be helpful to get some coaching from them on how to do that. Everyone is allowed to ask questions. We hope to get to everyone's questions today. Melissa will be selecting you as we go. You can either raise your hand on Zoom, or if you have your camera on, you can just raise your hand. Keep the questions on raising or up-leveling your vibrational frequency. And I also wanted to take a moment because we have a very special person in the audience today. Beth Ann McMerrick. Beth Ann, if you could unmute and just say hi.
Hello.
She is a mentor of mine. I hired her to help me start my business, Ignite Changemakers. She's absolutely amazing at clearing anything you need to clear to have a successful business. She's calls her company's Divine Money Mastery. I was actually going to just put the link in the chat. I would not be here today without her work. Melissa, will you take a moment and introduce yourself for us, and then I will call in the council.
I'm Melissa, and I have been working with channeling in the council, which has been amazing. And before that, I actually cut her hair as a hairstylist, and she was an advocate for my son at his school. And so, yeah, we have a little bit of past together, and it's been really great working with her.
Yeah. So when I channel the council, I sort of step aside. So I need a facilitator while I'm doing the channeling. And so Melissa was nice enough to do that for me. So anyway, while I call in the council, Melissa, have you set the timer or the alarm? We have an
Yeah,
alarm at 12:23 Mountain Time, just to make sure we have time to wrap up, because
we
neither
do have it set.
Melissa or I are great at dialing into time. We are here.
Good morning or afternoon, depending on where everybody's at. We wanted to open and ask if you could please lead us in a meditation with everybody today.
We are happy to be here. Yes, we can do that. May each of you sit with your feet on the ground, hands in your lap, and we're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. We will do this 3 times. We all join this meeting with the intentions of up-leveling our frequencies. May we all remain open and curious. May we take the nuggets of wisdom that speak to us and leave the ones that don't. We are blessed that all of you are here today. You may ask.
Our first question that we have is in the book that you created alongside with Gail. You mentioned that the co-creators will organize the quantum fields to repair the bridge that has structural problems. They will increase their vibrational level by using the emotion you call excitement. Then they will attract the frequency of the material matter they need to add to fix the bridge through visualization, expectation. Can you please explain in more detail how this will work and how we can develop these skills?
Yes, well, first, it is important to say that as we enter the next level of unity where souls will no longer be studying separation and differences. They will be studying the one energy that runs through everything in the universe. So this is the time we like to speak of as unity, where they study unity. These new generations have been up leveled. They are the next level of human beings, and many of you who interact with young ones have been able to see their ways of being different or being more up leveled and are always wondering, how did that work? They have come in at higher level frequencies. They are souls that study unique frequencies. They're not interested in being well-rounded. They will co-create with each other as teams in order to study the oneness of energy, which will allow them to fix this bridge. Let's say it is rusted. They will look at the bridge in their team. Each one will access their own particular frequency and be able to change the actual atomic structure within the bridge. So it will change from rust back to steel without having to add any material from the earth. It is the way they will learn how to organize what some call the quantum field, but it really is sort of organizing the atomic structure, utilizing the energy that runs through everything. However, you cannot do this if you're operating at lower frequencies. In order to attract the material, you have to be able to vibrate or maintain a frequency that will allow that material to be attracted to the bridge. And a belief system that it is able to be done through your intentions. Some have practiced meditation and manifestation. If you've been experimenting with that, you will notice that at times you can manifest rather quickly. And this is when you are excited or when you are, how do we say it, expecting. But if you are only noticing the lack or the want, then the manifestation does not happen. That is because the lack or want or the noticing of not having it is a lower frequency. So therefore it cannot be attracted to your quantum field. Whereas if you're excited or you're looking for it or you're knowing it will appear, this is a higher frequency. And this allows for the quantum field to organize around that manifestation. Does this make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much for your explanation on that. And I would like to see if anybody else has any questions that they would like to ask.
If there are no questions, we can continue on how to raise your frequency level.
Beth Ann, would you like to ask a question or would you like to hear?
We can do both. Let's hear her question.
Okay.
Well, my question is, I definitely want to know more about how to raise the frequency, but one thing that I've noticed is what I'm curious about is the food intake, specifically sugar, where I feel like sugar is a lower dense energy, and I'm trying to release that addiction to sugar so that I can raise my vibration even more, but I'm having a really difficult time doing that. And so I'm just wondering to know how to release that addiction to sugar so that I can continue to raise my vibration, because I feel like the sugar is keeping me in a lower dense energy because it's wanting me to attract to foods that don't support my physical health and my emotional well-being.
Yes, this is true. It is interesting that the focus is on releasing the sugar, so then the focus remains on sugar. it may be more helpful to focus on attracting the foods that are good for you, that will increase your frequency, and then let go of the idea of sugar. If you say to a young one, do not touch the hot stove, they are only thinking about the hot stove. Whereas if you say, let's look at that art project, let's go build something with your toys, then their focus is on the toys, not the hot stove. So it is more important, rather than just releasing what you have labeled an addiction, it would be more important to focus on what foods you think are helpful to your vibrational level. Does this make sense?
Yes. Okay, I get the mindset piece of it, thinking differently, but how can I help my body overcome that addiction or that craving?
It is best to make sure there is none of it in your house. This makes it less convenient. It makes it more of an effort to go experience what your body is craving. So if there is nothing in the house, then it would require you to go somewhere to get it. Now, this may be necessary. If you feel the drive to go get it, then it will be okay. Do not judge the body for what it is doing. Just let it have it for once. But if it is not within arm's reach, as they say, it is much harder for the body to just feed the chemical without more effort. Does this make sense? So a clean house with other options that will raise the frequency and may give you healthier sugars, such as an apple or grapes, versus the processed sugars, then you may be able to turn the neural pathways in your brain into wanting something else. It usually takes about 2 weeks for you to break that neural pathway, but having it away from you makes it much easier. Have you tried cleaning out your house?
Yes, but I have a little stash.
Mm.
But
So this has not been a decision you have made to actually give it up yet, which is
well,
also okay.
yeah, I mean, I think I did, but I just thought I could sneak a little, every once in a while. But I noticed like, yeah, no. So thank
Yeah,
you. That's good. Thank you.
yes, it will happen. We see your intentions, and this will manifest. It is just that last little bit you need to give up. It is interesting that the physical is also matching your mental. Yes. So there again, you can see the power of your own manifestation. Not quite ready to give it all up. Maybe I could just have a little, but a little is not helpful either. So once you have decided that it truly is not helpful, then you can get rid of this little stash. But it is also okay if you are not ready quite there. It is your journey and things will unfold. There may be more you need to learn from having that kind of food. And this is okay. It is about self-love and understanding. It is not about judgment and cutting off. But if you were to take care of someone you love, would you feed them sugar?
Depends. I think that's part of the culture, give them a cake, give them a lollipop, like buying sugar. It's just so part of our culture now. And I think that's, going back to the whole thing of raising our vibration culturally, because you talk about this oneness coming together, but culturally, again, we're saturated with processed sugars and processed foods. that I feel it continues to keep people on this level and this denser level. And so I would
Yeah.
just, I get what you're saying. I would love to hear more about what you feel we need as not only as a culture, but as individuals in raising our vibration. I'd love to hear more about that from your perspective.
Yes, it is interesting that the culture has this limiting belief that love is given through sweets, and then yet it has been proven that sweets are actually toxic for the human body. Maybe just a little is okay once in a while, but it is not helpful, even a little. So it is important to explore as we enter unity what true unconditional love is. True unconditional love is not based on previous limiting beliefs. Yes, it is entering the evolution of understanding and using the consciousness, the universal consciousness of what is good for your earth suits. So, if you truly love someone, maybe you would give them a smoothie made with vegetables and fruit that have nutrients that you know will up level their vibration. And if you already know that higher frequencies feel better, then true unconditional love is feeding the body what it needs and feeding your loved ones what they need. The lower frequencies are hard to break through if they have not the awareness of this. So yes, your body is acting as a small child would. Do not take this away from me. I want this. But you know that that is not your true self. That is not your higher vibrational frequency. For you are a goddess, and you should be fed as a goddess. Many people feel safer if they are in larger earth suits. So there may be some work to do around that. What if your earth suit was smaller? Does this make you feel less safe?
Yes, definitely makes me feel less safe with my body smaller, for sure.
So this is also a limiting belief because we know that big bodies are not safe or safer than smaller bodies. Maybe they are even more unsafe due to the health issues of carrying extra weight every moment of the day. Yes, so this is also a limiting belief. There are strong, mighty, small people that, if you were thinking of physical safety, would be more physically safe because they are quicker, they are stronger, they are more agile. So there is someone in there protecting you, whether it's one belief or a soul orphan. You've done lots of work, but this one little person needs energetic help, which you are very good at giving. We see that once you explore that limiting belief and who is behind it and who is trying to protect you by keeping you larger because they feel safer, once you put them to rest and explain this is not happening to you now and that you will be safe if you are healthy and fit, you will not have a problem with the sugar anymore.
Thank you.
This is a common belief for your culture. It is not unusual, and this is one of the tools that you will be utilizing as you teach. So this has happened for you so that you can help others as you have utilized all of the things in your life as tools. You are the goddess. You know who lies within. She is fit. She is strong and she is safe. So if we are to move on and talk about up-leveling frequencies, this was an excellent example. When you have a limiting belief, or you have habits or cultural norms that are questionable as far as being truly loving to oneself and others. It is good to explore those. And why must the pattern continue? Who wants that pattern to continue? What little energy block is in you that thinks it is better to be operating at lower frequencies or getting the high processed foods? For instance, we all know that if we eat high processed foods, it will lead to medical issues, which take a lot of time to heal. But yet, so many people believe that if they need to eat for their soul's higher frequency, that this will take time. It just takes a different preparation, and it all starts at the store or where you start bringing in your food. Only healthy, truly loving, a high frequency or high vibrational food should be allowed into your oasis, your home, your nest. And while if you want to make complex recipes, this could be time intensive. However, it does not take any more time to grab an apple or some grapes than it does to open the chip bag or the candy bag. Everything on earth has been put here to support you in nature. Trust in nature as you feed your body, and you will find that your frequency will raise up. However, we also are here to say, be gentle with yourselves. These are all lessons. Things are happening for you, not to you. So it can be exciting and interesting, and to be curious about where you see yourself believing that you're loving yourself or caring for yourself when you know this is not true, or that there is not enough time to care for yourself. Then who is behind that? It is fun to walk down these little paths within your soul. It's exciting to be curious about who is there. Who is behind that tree? Who is behind that rock? Who is hiding in that closet? How can we help them? So when you run into these triggers, you can sit quietly and go explore to find who believes this and why. Can you heal them? Yes, you can, through unconditional love and understanding. We cannot bring unity on earth until everyone's little triggers are fixed and healed. So your most important way of raising your vibrational frequency is finding the ones who are lower within your own ethos or your own soul. Once everyone tracks down all those people attracted to lower frequencies within their soul, then peace on earth will reign because no one will be triggered. They will just be observers and co-creators. They will be curious. They will not be reactive. So when unity comes as it is, there will be no reactions that you feel that start the wars, that start the violence, that start the hiding, that start the playing small. Everyone will feel safe. We sense some confusion about the little ones we talk about, so let's go into that. Each soul starts at a higher soul level. Some have been here before, but for those who haven't, if you imagine or try to understand what the soul level looks like, each soul is its own orb of energy. This orb of energy is responsible for creating universal consciousness. They do this through many different ways. Our soul orbs in the council, most of them have been teaching, organizing energy, just guides. Some of us have incarnated at times to deepen our understanding of who we're trying to help. But the souls that incarnate are crucial because growing universal consciousness takes experiences. So each orb tries to balance itself into the perfect energetic orb with no dips or no pulses that are not within the orb. So they do this by incarnating on many different dimensions. Earth is one. Many of you have heard of past lives. This is a bit of a misnomer. All of your lives or incarnations are happening at the same time. Time is a construct that is utilized on Earth, not in the soul energy level. Therefore, if you experience a trigger, this could be from a different incarnation somewhere else or at a different, maybe what you would say, the past time. However, since everything is happening at the same time within the higher self or the higher soul, it is possible for you to heal that incarnation by being curious and following what they say. So when you are triggered, it is important to sit quietly and ask, who is triggered in this situation? Who is creating this pattern in my life? And you will usually get a story as long as you can park your analytical mind. So if you sit quietly and breathe and ask that with no intention, expectation, or limiting beliefs, you will hear their story. It is important to weep with them, get angry with them. This helps them unblock their energy. This only takes 90 seconds of your time and your energy to help them process this. Then you need to explain that this is not happening now, and you no longer need to be protected in this way. Treat them as a small child. Hug them, grab their hand, bring them with you, for they have lessons that you can utilize in this incarnation. This is one way of accessing universal consciousness. Once you heal them and they understand protection of you in this incarnation is no longer necessary, your triggers or your reactions will dissipate. You will notice peace and observation where in your previous pattern, you might have felt agitated, angry, or justified. You may ask,
Does anybody else have any other questions that you may want to ask? Okay, I actually have a few questions if nobody else does. My son had brought up a couple questions that he thought would be interesting. One of his questions was, what is something you wish that people would understand about you or spirituality as a whole?
This is an interesting question. This is a time where people can access their guides in spirituality and understand the many dimensions of energetic flow and experiences. It is a time where they can access universal consciousness. So one thing we did not explain, as the soul orb learns, it expands. So there is growth. Each orb is collecting universal consciousness as it grows. This is why the universe is constantly growing. So your scientists have been able to prove that the universe is growing, but maybe because they have not accessed all different dimensions or levels of energetic beings, they have not understood why or what is behind that. Your DNA acts as a two-way street. Those DNA strands allow you to send your learning to your higher level soul. And also, it allows for you to access your higher level soul to use their universal knowledge and what has been collected before you or with you at the same time, if we are speaking in reality or truth, if we should say that. Those have all different judgments in your language, so it is hard to pick a word that works. So we would like this understanding to be known, that you are crucial in creating unity, that you can access universal knowledge. You do not need to wait. It is much like your internet. You can set the intention instead of going to a search. It is the same. What do I need to know? How do I do this? And your understanding will grow. As far as us, we are acting as guides here, but each of you has your own counsel that walks with you. They only need to be asked to do the helping, but they can only create what you focus on. So if you are focusing on what you don't have, they create more not having. If you're focused on the sweet taste of sugar, they create the need for sugar. But if you ask for what you want, they can also bring that. And it is important to focus on what you have asked for. Gail likes to say, focus on the adjectives or the descriptors of what you are looking for. So if you want to win the lottery and get billions of dollars, what will that feel like? What do you expect that to bring to you? Maybe it is freedom. Maybe it is abundance. Maybe it is a feeling of security. So then ask your angels or your guides to create more of that. It is much easier to create the descriptors than it is to bring forth the one option of winning the lottery. Therefore, you could ask for the amount of money you do want, but it is more important to think about what that brings or what you think that will feel like. Because it is easy to start noticing that you feel that way already. We like to say gratitude unlocks your knowing and up levels your frequency. So if you have been stuck in a low vibrational pattern that has not been helpful, and it is hard for you to up level your frequency, find things that you are grateful for at the current frequency you are on. I am so grateful that I have organic kale. I am so grateful that I have an apple that is so beautiful, ready to support my energy. Made by a beautiful tree, made by the earth. I am so grateful that I am able to pay one bill today. I am grateful for the abundance to do that. Gratitude is a very high vibrational frequency and is easy for your guides to build on.
We do have another question, and I wanted to thank you for that example. That was really helpful with the gratitude piece of it in everyday life. Brian would like to ask a question also.
You may ask.
Hi, Council. It's a privilege to be in your presence. Thank you for all that you've shared thus far. My question is, I struggle with the simultaneity of incarnations and the fact that there are other incarnations happening, yet the only one that my consciousness seems to understand is the one I'm in on the earth at a time we call 2025. I am aware that scientists have shown that humans have been around for a certain amount of time and things have happened on the planet, this planet, over several thousands of years of evolution. And if time doesn't really exist, is that just an illusion of time to help incarnated beings through their journey having to wear a gravity suit? And if so, like, while in the gravity suit, is it possible to access the me in other dimensions that is living life and learning? Or the me that's ungrounded and an orb that may be in a similar group to yours, helping others? What I'm trying to do is put together the idea of how can all of this be happening simultaneously, and my awareness of it seems so tiny from my perspective.
Yes, we have spoken before. Yes, it is nice to see you again. We are happy to be here with you also. So it is interesting that you have stated your limited belief. Yes,
Yes.
your awareness is only of this tiny sliver. So once you change that, and maybe we would argue that you have experienced other dimensions or other energetic experiences. You have felt the presence of loved ones that have passed to an energetic form before, have you not?
Correct. Very much.
So this is an awareness that is beyond your one sliver. It is the same. So we would suggest that you challenge the belief that your awareness is only of this one dimension of your soul and open to all of them, because you are able to access, you are actually very gifted in sensing different energetic forms. Even here on earth, you create very strong connections through energetic connections and awareness. So do not limit your awareness to this one earth suit. Maybe start small. Maybe say, I would like to become aware of one other current incarnation, or one incarnation that could use my help, and see what happens. Then you will understand that it is a quantum field. Each of us experiences this dimension of earth differently. We have talked about this before, yes. So with the quantum reality that is played out for us, we notice different things. We have used this analogy before. If there were 3 people walking through the park at the exact same time, same day, same moment, all 3 of them would have a totally different experience. So the question remains, yes, your scientists have dug up remains on Earth when Earth was serving certain individuals. Maybe it is the dinosaurs. However, maybe the dinosaurs still walk on Earth in a different dimension. So it is all organized based on your belief and what you need to attract. It is a quantum physics reality. It is not actually that physical. This is a belief that will begin to dissolve. That physical form is material that cannot be changed. Once you relax that understanding, and it is proven right before your eyes at all times, whether the food is rotting or whether the water is boiling and becoming gas, there is no limit to the physicality. It is always morphing, it is always movable. So once you dissolve that, this is when you can start organizing the quantum field. Maybe you could walk the earth with the dinosaurs. This is unusual thought for the current experience, but it is possible. This is mind-blowing, we sense, but it all has to do with vibration and frequency. These younger generations will be able to access this much more readily due to their up-leveling of frequency. They are the next evolution of the human earth suit. However, this can also be experienced in your earth suit. It just needs some more reprogramming. It is like building or unbuilding or deprogramming the wires that you have been given to wire them to experience something different. But you are in control of that. And Brian, this is your purpose, to be curious about it, because you are here to lead that understanding. So it is no coincidence that you have some skepticism to work through, because this is what you will be teaching. You will be teaching the skeptics. So you need to experience a very solid form of that skepticism. And what will it take to let go of that belief? And how that transpires will be crucial for your purpose. You know this to be true, do you not?
Yes. Thank you.
We are happy to confirm. We are appreciative of your efforts on behalf of the humanity on Earth. All of you have stepped forth at this time as the master change makers you are. And it may be harder for some to remember who they are once they have landed on Earth. But as you explore each lesson that has been created for you, it will lead you to your higher frequency and why you are here. And we are grateful for your efforts to bring unity at this time. And we want to remind you not to get bogged down in the news. That is the 1% that is still learning about separation, differences, the destructive powers of believing in that. It is more important that you are exploring the oneness within yourself and throughout your experience. You may ask,
Our time is coming to a close. Is there any messages that you would like to leave with us before you go?
well, we just did, but
Okay.
we would like each of you to remember who you are. Be patient with your evolution. It is divinely timed, if you like to talk about time. It is just a blossoming of understanding and utilizing the DNA strands both ways, yes, accessing from all directions and building in all directions. Remember, your greatest tool is unconditional love for yourself and others. It has been our pleasure to be of service today. We look forward to speaking to you next time. Gail has let us know that in December it is going to be let's talk about 2026 and what is in our future. But isn't it interesting that we have already talked about the future today? As you explore these seasons that have been developed in your culture of Thanksgiving, which is gratitude, and Christmas, which, if you truly follow down to the core, is about a person who had unconditional love for humanity. And Hanukkah, which is about actually transforming the atoms, and then the oil lasted longer. All of these are important things to explore during this season because it will up-level your frequency for the 2026. We are so pleased that you have come today. We are filled with gratitude for your efforts here on Earth, for you are building the universal consciousness that will allow unity to come one with Earth. Start noticing where that is already. You have done much work. There is much more unity than there is division. Maybe turn off the news. That is a very low frequency. We will look forward to talking to you again. We are complete.
Thank you for your time today. Hello.
Hello.
You're back.
So it's like a nap. It's like waking up from a nap.
Sounds like a very calming nap.
Yeah. So every third Wednesday of the month, we do talks with the council. That will be December 17th. You can sign up for it now if you would like. And even if you can't make it, I will send you the replay. Sign up and it will send you the confirmation email and the reminder and the link and all of that. In about an hour, my system will send you all an email for a follow-up survey to complete. And I would appreciate it if you took the time to either answer the quick survey, leave a Google review, or even just reply to the email if you have suggestions or questions for future council talks. And also it has a link. If you have questions that you want to ask the council, you can schedule a time with me and you can have your own individual council meeting on whatever you need to hear about. Later this week, I will send the link to the replay. I really appreciate you all joining us today and look forward and hopeful that we will see you next month. And if I can be of service to you anyway using the council, or I also have my neurodiversity specialty, let me know. It's been interesting to me. If nobody's watched the Telepathy Tapes podcast, they're studying non-speaking autistic individuals and how they utilize telepathy to communicate. It has been so great for me to see where neurodiversity and the access to different dimensions and energy cross. It has helped me really make sense of my neurodiversity experience and the strengths that it brought in my ability to grow spiritually. So it's a really interesting podcast. I suggest it if anybody else is wondering about the crossover of neurodiversity and spirituality. And we're all made perfectly for why we are here. So thanks again. I look forward to seeing you next month and hearing from you if you need anything. Bye.
Thank you, Gail, for taking the time today to do all of this for everybody.
Excellent. I appreciate you.
Bye,
Have a great
everybody.
holiday season, and we'll see you December 17th.